What's up, Victoria? It's Victoria, and we're jumping into the Hot Mess Time Machine today. If you are new to my channel, the Hot Mess Time Machine is a video series I do on my channel where I take a look back at my new release video called Critical Sass a couple of years ago, and I reevaluate some of the products I talked about in that Critical Sass 4 years later, and I reflect on whether or not those products were worth the hype. Can we learn anything about those products 3 years after the fact, 4 years after the fact? We're going back to episode 3 of Critical Sass, which is interesting whenever you see the setup I have, which is already different than the first setup I had in the first couple of videos. These videos are years old at this point, and I don't have the setup that I currently have, which is something I've grown into. But whenever you first start doing YouTube, it just kind of is what it is. So you're going to see a very old version of me, which is exciting and fun and keeps us on our toes. The first thing I would like to reevaluate is the Kaleidos Smoky Nostalgia Collection. So it looks like there's maybe 2 quads, or maybe just the one, and they have it open and then also closed in this photo. Maybe 4 blushes. There is a blush that is open. Typical with their releases, it looks like there will be 4 lip products. I imagine they're all going to be grays and blacks, but I feel like don't they already have a black lipstick that got released with the Apple collection? So at first I was like, ooh, a smoky palette, but then I remembered I have the Tom Ford quad that I really like, that no one else likes, the badass quad. I'm kind of good on a smoky quad, so I wouldn't need that, but like, I'm kind of interested in the blushes. I have yet to try anything from Kaleidos. I got excited because of the aesthetic of it, because it was like, ooh, goth, ooh, dark, ooh, smoky, ooh, what fun. I always think I really want to be a smoky girl, like, and really do the smoky thing, and I just am not. But I love black lipstick, so maybe I don't have a black lipstick right now. I don't need a black lipstick either. That's the thing, is like, I really like black lipstick, and I actually end up pulling it out a lot whenever I do have one in my collection. And I'm always into like a vampy lip, more so in my brain than in practice, because I just normally just pull out a nude lip gloss. That's like my aesthetique. I'm curious about this, but I think I was actually more excited about the Apple collection, which was just lipsticks. I know that Kaleidos has it in them, that they're gonna give me the thing that I want, and I don't want to pull the trigger prematurely. And it's like one of those things that I'll know it when I see it. I do think that this stuff was maybe worth the hype. I didn't try Kaleidos, I think, until a little bit after this. I at some point did a Kaleidos brand review somewhere in the grand scheme of things. It's so weird because like I've now been on YouTube in earnest for about 5 years, and my channel does have videos older than that, but that's when I really started to do it. And just thinking about all the stuff that has come and has gone and all the videos that I have done, and I've almost done 1,000 videos. So sometimes my memory can be a little bit lacking on stuff that I have tried, but you try a lot of unmemorable makeup if you do this at all. But I did try Kaleidos at some point, and I did try the shade Dreamwalker, which is one of the blush shades that is in this collection. But if you're not familiar, this collection kind of consists of 4 liquid lipsticks, the Lip Cloud Clap Clay. I've always gotten that wrong. It has 4 shades of that, and I think I maybe even tried one of those shades. I tried one of the blushes. There was 5 blushes, and I think this was the first time they were doing these powder blushes. And it's just like a very smoky collection, except for the blushes. The blushes are quite poppy and vibrant. I feel like the blushes are still rather popular. They're a pretty popular product. I think when people still talk about Kaleidos, those blushes do come up. They have extended the shade range through other collections. I think that there are products in here that still hold a lot of value in people's makeup collections today. I think there are products in this launch that are still relevant, and if people bought them today, they would be happy with. Is it something that I personally want? No. I did want to try Kaleidos at the time, and I eventually did. And now that I have tried Kaleidos, you know, it's like, I don't know that I'm that hyped for a lot of what Kaleidos does, but a lot of people really like it. I think if we are still seeing people consistently use their products this far along from this collection, I think that they have succeeded in what they made. However, this was also, I think, maybe the first or second launch that was a little more neutral than what they had provided previously. Kaleidos is kind of known for being bright and punchy, and they kind of like moved away from that, and then they disappeared for a while.
5 years later.
Well, I think what we can learn is that you don't know what you got till it's gone. Kaleidos disappearing for a couple of years was pretty wild. It was very popular. People talk about Kaleidos on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram. Like, Kaleidos is being used everywhere I'm at. There's people using Kaleidos. Of the C Beauty brands, Kaleidos has done a really good job integrating itself into the US market, especially through influencers. They are very generous with their PR. I've not received Kaleidos PR, and that's not like a complaining thing, but I've seen people receive their whole line of product like multiple times. Are you out of something? We'll just send you the whole thing again. You can have all of the highlighters, you can have it all again. But Kaleidos is really quiet for the last couple of years. I think for 2 years they didn't launch any new products. They were like still around, but they weren't launching anything until this year. Like if I would have done this very video like 3 months ago, I would have been like, where did Kaleidos even go? But they just came back the last month or so, and they launched like a whole lip product line, and they extended on their eyeliner range. And it's really nice to see them back. Like I said, I think it's nice that we are seeing a lot of color. We're in the new year. I feel like every new year there's a lot of speculation on what the trends in makeup will be, and a lot of people are speculating that there will be more color this year. A lot of people are speculating that we're going to go back to 2016, and I don't agree with that, but I have personally been wearing more color. That's also, I think, due to the products that I'm currently interacting with, because I'm enjoying them and they happen to be colorful. All that being said, I don't know what the trends for 2026 are going to be as far as what we're doing with makeup. Like, I just don't know. But it is nice to see that Kaleidos is back in the fold. People are very excited about it. I'm not going to run out and buy a Kaleidos product, but I'm happy to see that they're back. I hope that with their next couple of launches, if they're planning on doing another eyeshadow launch, that it is colorful and it's speaking to the people who brought that brand up, and it's not like another neutral collection. It started to seem like they were trying to play to the widest possible audience, and that's like just not what people were going to them for. And I think that's a mistake when a brand known for color tries to go for neutrals. I think it's okay to put like out a neutral palette from a colorful brand, but if you're known for color, you can't stay in that neutral Nancy too long. And I think Kaleidos had, and I'm not really sure what happened to the brand while they were gone, but like a lot of times when that happens, like maybe there's like new ownership, or I don't, maybe they were just taking back all the feedback that they got and pushback they got for being so neutral for their last 3 or 4 launches before they disappeared. But yeah, people are very excited that they're back. I'm happy that people are excited that they're back. I'm not generally interested in it, but yeah, what we learned is that Kaleidos will be missed if they are gone, and people are happy to see them back. The next product I would like to reevaluate is the Kosas Revealer Foundation. Kosas is releasing their Revealer Skin Improving Foundation 25 SPF. It's a clean, skin-loving, medium coverage SPF foundation and treatment with hyaluronic acid, niacinamide, peptides, squalene, vitamin B5, arnica, and caffeine. It's not to say that I don't think that there should be skin nourishing ingredients in foundation. Like, yeah, definitely we should be making foundations with ingredients that are like good for the skin. But like, let's not get it twisted. Like, your foundation is not your skincare. If you're interested in niacinamide, you're not going to put that over top of moisturizer. Your moisturizer is already kind of creating a barrier. And if you are someone who uses primer, then you have the niacinamide has to get through all of your other skincare to get to your face. And it's just like not going to happen, right? And that's why I don't think that there should be skincare in foundation, because you shouldn't be using foundation as skincare. Okay, sorry. That aside, Kosas, their branding, what they're about, kind of misses me. I use Glossier as like a touch point because it's like a certain aesthetic that it's like self-standing, it's freestanding, and it's like very easy to relate back to because people know the aesthetic of Glossier, right? So Kosas and Glossier kind of like go hand in hand, especially with like the new brow packaging stuff that they've been doing. It's feeling very like girl boss, and I just like don't really like that. I'm imagining, as most brands who are like skin focused, whenever they release a complexion product, it's all yellow. It's all yellow. Just like high-end brands, it's all like so warm leaning or yellow leaning. So I probably couldn't even find a shade for myself here. I will say it does seem that the range is like, with the 4 different depths that they provide, like the light, medium, tan, deep, they all have the same amount of shades. So there's that. But I'm not running out to buy this. I'm not excited about this. I'm not actually sure if this product was worth the hype. People are very fond of Kosas. It's not a fondness that I understand. Kosas has yet to put out a product that interests me. 2, looks good, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. And I don't really know where this subconscious beef with Kosas started, but I've like always had it. You can go back to very old videos on my channel and I'm already talking shit about Kosas. I don't know what it is. Kosas Revealer Concealer was a banger product. I never tried it, but it is very well liked. To this day, it is still on people's favorite list. People are still using them up. People pan them fully and then go out and buy it again because this is such a staple product for so many people. fall. And then they released the foundation, which is like, you know, the spin-off, and it's probably supposed to be like concealer, but foundation. Not that you can't use the concealer all over your face. It's supposed to be part of that family, and it was a very successful start to that family. I don't think that the foundation landed as well as the concealer. If I recall correctly, whenever I started seeing reviews of this, it's like people liked it generally, but they weren't as obsessed with it as they were with the concealer. I do think, however, this has been reevaluated by other people more recently. I know my friend Cam, she's really loving this foundation, like currently to this day. And I think Laura May Beauty, this is like one of her favorite foundations. And she's a very picky person when it comes to her foundation. So like, it's like, it's out there, but it's just like, it's not been an overwhelming success, right? I don't think that 4 years after its launch, 1 million people are like, Kosas Revealer foundation is my favorite foundation. But that's just my opinion on the internet. Maybe people buy this all the time at Sephora. I simply don't know. I don't work at Sephora anymore. And they haven't discontinued it or like anything like that. And I think they have done shade extensions on this since the initial launch. So it must do well enough. But just the vibe and the buzz around it, it's not as much as like the concealer still gets. And that product is older than the foundation. So if that says anything about it, I just think that's a really interesting thing to think about. And I also think comparing it to another foundation that I talked about on this series already, the NARS Light Reflecting Foundation, that NARS foundation people still vehemently love. Like they vehemently, is that a word? Is that the right word? I don't know. People still really like people still really like that foundation. It's still on their favorites, but this foundation is not like that one. Like people don't talk about it. I also tried this foundation at some point and I found that it was like very matte. It was like a hand-me-down from another creator and I was like, I'll try it, whatever. And when I tried it, I was like, I'm not really sure that I find any value in this. I've not tried the concealer, to be fair. So I wasn't even comparing it to the concealer. I was like, I thought that Kosas is very like wet, like they're just a very wet brand. And I always just felt like their complexion products were designed to be a little more moist and maybe a little bit more forgiving to aging skin. I did not find that with the foundation. I only tried it like a handful of times before I was like, someone else can have this. I'm like definitely 0% interested in using this anymore. The sequel is never going to be as good or even better than the original, which would be the concealer. In this case, this isn't a reformulation or anything like that, but it's not as popular. I just don't see people celebrating this product like I see them celebrating other Kosas products. Like the Cloud Set is still incredibly relevant. Like, I don't know, it's just not a staple in their collection. Like it's a staple because it is the foundation that they offer. And I think when brands offer a foundation, you want that to be highly repurchasable. And I do believe that there are people who buy this over and over again, but maybe they could release a better foundation. But this was actually their second attempt at a foundation product. You may not remember, but Kosas, this is like part of their rebrand that they did a couple of years ago, like 4 or 5 years ago. They had a oil like an oil foundation or an oil skin tint. That was bad. That people loved it, but it was awful. It was an awful product. It was so bad. So this is like even a reiteration and a fixing, I think, of that product. And yeah, it's still not for me. I still to this day have 0% interest in trying a Kosas product. Although I just put a form on my posts tab on my channel and I was just like, let me know about products you would like for me to try, and a lot of people are putting Kosas products. Guys, I'm not sure I'm gonna try Kosas product. Like, I appreciate you wanting me to try Kosas product, but I just don't think it's gonna happen. The next product I would like to reevaluate is the Makeup HD Foundation reformulation that happened in 2022. This is the Makeup Forever HD Skin Foundation. Undetectable, instantly blurs, 24-hour wear, natural, true to skin finish. It's been a long time since I had used the other Ultra HD foundation. This is like a reformulation to replace the Ultra HD. From what I can remember, that was actually like the first foundation I ever bought was the Ultra HD foundation. It feels similar. Again, I wasn't a diehard. It's been a long time since I used it, but I really liked it. And I would say that so far, based on my first impression, I really enjoyed using this foundation today, but I'm excited to give it my vigorous testing that I like to do whenever I am talking about a new foundation that to me or reviewing foundation in general. So be on the lookout for a full review of this soon. I'm glad I have it because it would have been a foundation that I would have been inkling to try either way. I swear to God, it was so interesting that like I pulled it and then now I have it on my face. Like, no, this was not worth the hype. So no one wants to see or hear that their favorite product is being discontinued or reformulated. And I would almost argue that reformulation is a bigger spit in your face than discontinued. Like, it's not good when something's discontinued. But if they try to zombify the product that you loved, it sucks. I think it sucks even more because it's like there's like this lingering feeling that you could still buy the thing that you once loved, but it's just not the same. And that seems to have been what happened with this foundation. Now, I tried this foundation and I clearly had different feelings about it than other people. The original formulation, or I guess maybe like the formulation before this formulation, because I think that this product has gone through a handful of reformulations over the years. What I'm thinking of is the one that was available from like 2016 until this formulation. And it was such a staple foundation. It was the first foundation that I ever bought, which I think I mentioned in the clip. It was such a good middle of the road foundation. If someone came into Sephora and they were like, I'm getting into makeup, I want to try a foundation. You ask questions, you know, you're like, do you like a lot of coverage? Do you like a little bit of coverage? And if they were just like, I don't really know. It was really good on oily skin. It was really good on dry skin, and it had nice medium buildable coverage. So I think it was such a good starting point for a foundation. It was a great starting point for a foundation for me. I think I went through a handful of bottles of that old formulation, and this was great for bridal. I think a lot of professional makeup artists use that old formulation. This formulation did not go over very well. A lot of people had a lot of problems with it. They did not like the way it smelled. They did not like the way it performed. They didn't think it performed the same. People were just not impressed. I do think if you go watch my review of this, I got the foundation through Influencer. So I had to review it on my channel because like that's kind of how Influencer works, is like you get the product, but in exchange for review. In my review, like I think I gave it a fairly positive review, and I don't remember it being that different from the original formulation, but it's now been like maybe 8 or 9 years since I tried the formulation I'm trying to compare it to. And now that it's been that long, I don't even really remember how I feel about like the reformulation, but I definitely did not hate it as much as some people. And I also did not remember it smelling, like I didn't even mention it having fragrance in it because it did not smell weird to me. Like it did not smell super fragrant, but a lot of other content creators exclaimed that it smelled really bad, but I like did not get that. This relaunch shrunk the shade range, and Makeup Forever was a brand that bragged about having a really good shade range. Whenever Fenty launched their foundation range, they were like, well, we've always had that many shades. And now they've shrunk the shade range because they're cowards and they're awful. I think the thing that we can learn most from this is that reformulations are often bad and we don't like them, and so is things being discontinued. This is just one of those moments where it's clear to me that you should just wait for someone that you trust to review it on the internet, whether it's a blogger or someone on YouTube or a TikToker, whoever you trust. Whenever something's reformulated, just wait. Let someone else spend their money on it, or let someone get it in PR and tell you how it is. And I know that sometimes people don't like to get reviews from PR because they feel like the PR relationship skews how people review things, but I feel like with reformulations and stuff, people are going to be very honest. They want you to really know before you buy it. So yeah, this is just one of those moments where I just think it's always better to wait for someone else to take the L. Don't be the person who takes the L, unless you're a content creator and you can make a little money on it. I also think that what we can learn from this now is that Makeup Forever was maybe one of the first brands that was really starting to overhaul their brand to make it EU compliant. Now I don't know if this foundation has that one silicone ingredient that is being banned in 2027. So maybe we'll see another reformulation. But if you haven't been paying attention, like a lot of brands are specifically reformulating powders, but now brands are reformulating like complexion products as well because of things that are banned in the EU. I assume that the reason that brands do this, they make it EU compliant because it like doesn't really matter if it's like US compliant. They want it to be able to be sold in the EU and the US, and that they don't want to have different formulations in both places. They want to make it in one place and export it from that one place to everywhere, not to have two different formulas that might come from two different factories. This was the first sign of like everyone starting to overhaul their stuff. Like all the talc is gone. So that was a warning sign that I don't think a lot of us heeded. The next product I would like to reevaluate are the Fenty Icons Demi Matte Lipsticks. Fenty Icons Demi Matte Refillable Lipstick from Fenty Beauty. Are these shades revolutionary? No, but they did say nudes, right? And so people love nudes. And I actually think like a semi-matte is like pretty nice. Like I like the idea of a semi-matte. I will tell you this, but after those matte Mademoiselle lipsticks, I don't know if I trust Fenty with like a lipstick product, because I can't believe that product actually like made it through testing. It was not good, and they faded. They were bad. They had like they were crusty crust, and they like stayed on the shelves forever, and they like were marked down for a really long time. Like it's just like we couldn't really give them away. They were like not good. I love the idea of it being refillable, but I think if we're gonna take the route to make it a refillable item, then we should make a very conscious effort to make sure that all of the parts of the component that we are replacing are recyclable. And it looks like there's a lot of plastic involved, which, you know, I'm not the most eco-friendly. I don't know all of the ins and outs of that, but that's just like my first thought is like, you're clearly making it refillable to try to appeal to people who are being eco-conscious. However, if the way you are trying to be eco-conscious isn't, that doesn't really matter, right? Like, of course, you're not throwing a whole bullet away. That's definitely less waste, but it's also like, if we're going to try to make a zero waste item, let's make it a zero waste item. The colors are really pretty. I really like that deep burgundy. I don't really care that the shape of the lipstick is in her Cupid's bow, because one, it's not going to stay in that shape. I don't know that I have any lipstick that hasn't turned into a round nubbin with enough use. Like, I lose that point immediately. Am I putting my lipstick on wrong? Probably. I feel like at first we had like a lot of innovation. We were doing a lot of fun colors. I think we've kind of like lost that affliction for that type of product, right? Like, this is pretty basic. I would love to see the Fenty brand maybe pull out all the stops and do something with like a ka-chow. That's not to say I wouldn't like try one of these or wouldn't buy one of these. I'm not gonna run out to get it. These are not worth the hype, no. For some reason, Fenty Beauty cannot make a bullet lipstick to save their life. They just cannot do it. I mentioned the lipstick they had before this called the Mademoiselle lipsticks, and if you don't remember them, they looked like this. And they were the most drying, uncomfortable lip product I think I've ever used. I'm talking about being part of the beauty community whenever liquid lipsticks reigned supreme and everyone was releasing liquid lipsticks. We put our lips through a lot of trauma in that time if you were someone who wore liquid lipsticks at that time. They were a flop, and they got discontinued relatively quickly. I don't think these are worth the hype because I did go to their website and these are marked down. I think they're being discontinued. There's not even that many shades still available. So I don't think that this product really worked out for them. And I don't even know if there was that much hype at all because I don't think I can remember a single person I watch on YouTube even talked about them. I remember people talking about them in like new release videos, but I cannot for the life of me think of a singular content creator that tried this lipstick. It didn't become a favorite because I feel like lipstick is a harder sell as a fave. Like, you're either into lipstick or you're not. Like, there are people who are very into lipstick, and so maybe someone who's very into lipstick tried this, but like whenever a good lipstick formula does well, I feel like we all end up knowing about it. Or if the lipstick formula is a little bit weird, you've seen someone have an opinion on it, but these either were so bad or so whatever that like there was just no talk about them after they launched, and that's probably why they're being discontinued. I think what we've learned is that maybe we just don't trust Fenty with lipstick launches, bullet lipstick launches. Even beyond bullet lipsticks, I don't think that their liquid lipsticks do very well. They have the lip paints and they also have like a liquid version of this Icon lipstick, like the Icon Velvet lipstick. I've tried the lip paints. I had one for a while that was decluttered to me, I think by Tiff. And I did like that formula, but people didn't like that formula, at least when it launched, because it did move around on the lips. Like, it wasn't something that stayed perfectly on the lips. And that's what people wanted their liquid lipsticks to do at the time. And I don't know if these Fenty Icon lipsticks are any better or set down more and don't transfer or whatever. I just feel like their lipstick products never work out well for them, which is so strange because their glosses are, I think, one of their staple products. There are so many people who still to this day love the Fenty Gloss Bombs, even in Fenty Glow. Like, Fenty Glow is still celebrated. I still see people being like, I still wear Fenty Glow. And I also feel like I finished 2 or 3 of those Fenty lip glosses. Like, they're a repurchasable product because like you do kind of go through them, and that might be due to the fact that the applicator is so big you might just run through the product faster. If there is a lip product that I do finish with relative regularity, I do finish like lip glosses way faster than I finish lipsticks. And that's because I just wear lip glosses more. Yeah, it's just so interesting that they can like nail a lip gloss formula. And they've also iterated on the lip gloss. They've have the heat ones, the icy ones. They also have the gloss sticks, which people really like. And I have one and I like that. Like, I like that a lot. And I just don't know why they can't nail the lipstick formula. What I really think Fenty needs to do if they want to make a successful lip product when it comes to a lipstick product that would feel innovative to the American market, I think if they looked at K-Beauty and J-Beauty and C-Beauty lip formulas for lipsticks and brought some of those inspired ideas to the United States, I think people would be maybe excited and curious about it, because not everyone pays attention to those markets. And I would say I have a very limited knowledge of what that market has to offer myself. Those lip products, I think, just in general appear and seem more exciting to me and might make me want to buy one of their lipstick products if they brought something like that over. Whereas if they keep trying to make bullet lipsticks, I don't know. I think a lot of the millennial brands are really suffering from who are you marketing to? Are you trying to keep the millennials who are maybe aging into some older style brands or maybe even like legacy brands that might be better for their skin now at this point? Or should they be marketing to younger people? Because I think that Rihanna still has a lot of cachet with young people like Gen Z and Gen Alpha. Well, I don't know about Gen Alpha. I feel like I don't know anything about Gen Alpha. I'm not really sure who they're marketing to, and I don't think they're sure who they're marketing to. I don't feel like young people really like bullet lipsticks. I could be wrong. Let me know in the comments down below. I love bullet lipsticks. Normally, if I am going to wear like a pigmented lip product, it is a bullet lipstick, although today's is a liquid lip. All that being said, Fenty, get it together and release a good lipstick. Also, if you tried this formula I'm talking about, I would love to hear what you thought about it down below, because I just feel like I have no concept about how this was received, and I would like to have anyone with experience with it to chime in the comments down below. Thank you for joining me in the Hot Mess Tom Machine. If you are new to my channel, I would love for you to subscribe. Don't forget to like and hype this video. I'm on Patreon and I have channel memberships. You can find that in the description box down below, as well as everything that is on my face today if you were curious what I'm wearing. And I will have a pinned comment. In that pinned comment will be links to support people who were affected by ice. I'm going to try to find some GoFundMe's to link down there. If you are protesting, be safe, take care, and that is it. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to follow your hope and you'll find me, and I'll see you in a video very soon. Go forth. It's out.